Okay, let's start with a simple question. What is loneliness? Like all great questions, it's simple. It's simple and yet profound because it opens all kinds of avenues so far as the definition is concerned. Now, what I think is loneliness is the feeling of emptiness, of not having other people in your life with which to share your experiences. It's a very simple definition, and it comes from an incident that happened to me with my dog, Claire. Claire was a mutt, and I miss her greatly. I had her, she died when she was 15 years old, and I had her since she was a 9-week-old puppy. And she was a wonderful dog. And during the time that she was in my life, I would, of course, walk her. I would walk her every day, multiple times per day. And those walks for me were some of the most productive times of my day. I'd go around the block, we walk usually about 8 blocks, 10 blocks, something like that, with the dog, and the dog would, walk around, smell stuff, do her business, and what have you. And we'd walk together, and I remember one time, more than once it happened, as a matter of fact, that I was walking with her, and a passing car, would backfire, or some incident would happen on the street, some surprising incident, something like pow. And because of this, we would both glance at one another. We'd glance at one another like, holy shit, did you see that? And that was a thing that was really powerful. The dog and I, different species, different sexes, right? We'd react to this external stimuli, and we'd look at one another to confirm if we had both heard it, that it wasn't just our imaginations, right? The dog and I would do the exact same thing, and it happened a bunch of times. We'd be startled by the noise or the event or what have you, and we would quickly glance at one another. And it wasn't glancing at the dog to see if the dog was okay. I knew that the dog was okay. It was like to confirm reality, to confirm that it wasn't just me. Dogs are social animals. People are social animals. We need other people to confirm the reality around us, okay? And so when you feel lonely, what it is that you don't have anyone around who can confirm the reality that's going on around you, the stimuli that you are experiencing. When you're alone, when you're lonely, you don't have any kind of feeling of companionship as you drift through existence. And that's what makes you feel so shitty. You see what I mean? Now, of course, this is a shitty feeling and you want to cure it, right? So a lot of people think that in order to cure this feeling of loneliness, what they have to do is surround themselves with people. They surround themselves with people and they'll feel that they're no longer lonely, right? Wrong. That's a fucking disaster, as a matter of fact. To surround yourself with people, but you have no connection to them. There's nothing going on there. I mean, like, you go to a supermarket, say a crowded supermarket or a crowded mall or what have you, and it's filled with people, right? It's filled with people, but you can feel just as lonely, sometimes even more lonely, because there are people around you, but you have no shared experience. You're not looking at one another's eyes, like I did with the dog, to confirm the experience, the reality that's going on around you, right? Of course, you're in a crowded square or a crowded mall or crowded store, what have you, and everybody's interested in different things and they're all going about their various businesses in different directions. There's no connection. There's no connection at all. But what happens at a theater? A theater, be it plays or cinema. You go to the theater and there are a bunch of other people, a bunch of other strangers. And they're all there to see the performance or the movie that's going to play, right? And you sit there with all of these strangers, but all of you are focused in the same direction. You're all focused in the same direction. And as the play begins, as the movie begins, you start feeling the same emotions, right? You start feeling the same thing, there's surprise, there's revelations, there's romance, there's tension, this, that, the other. Whatever emotions are being portrayed in the play or in the movie, you all feel it. And that's why so many times when you feel lonely, you go to the movies. Yeah, you go to the movies and you surround yourself with other people who are experiencing the same thing. And you don't feel so lonely anymore now, do you? This is a key insight, okay? And it took me a long time to figure this out. The cure for loneliness is to become associated with other people in some endeavor that takes up all of your attention. Just like when you go to the movies. You go to the movies and you're there in a crowd of a couple hundred people and you're all experiencing the same thing, but of course it's a fiction, it's just a movie, right? In order to cure your loneliness, you have to join a project or lead a project or be a part of a project somehow that involves a lot of people all going towards the same mountaintop. You have to find your mountaintop, the thing that you desire, the project. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a work of art of your own, maybe it's whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter what it is, but it has to be a mountaintop that you are aiming for and that you are focusing all of your attention on. You find that thing and your loneliness vanishes. See, because when you go after a project, a hard project, something that's at once attainable, but just beyond your current abilities, I mean, just a little bit beyond your grasp, right? What starts to happen is that you start to draw on reservoirs that you didn't even know you had. Oh yeah. You start to draw on strengths that you didn't even know existed within you as you strive towards this goal. And as you focus your attention on this goal, whatsoever it may be, you focus your attention on this goal, striving towards it, striving to make it happen. And you're drawing on all of your strengths to make it happen. And what happens is that you no longer feel lonely as you focus on this thing. And not only that, as you focus towards this thing and go towards it, striving towards your Everest, whatsoever that Everest may be, other people join you. Sometimes they join you for a little bit of the way, sometimes they join you from beginning to end. It doesn't matter. But what happens is, as you strive towards this goal, this thing that you want, the thing that hopefully is something decent and noble and good, as you strive towards it, other people join you. And as they join you, they confirm the reality of what you're doing. They make you feel that you are not experiencing this reality all on your own. Oh, no, no, no. You're part of other people and you're going towards something. You know how you can feel lonely playing video games? You know how you can feel so lonely jerking off or doing something purely selfish? Because there's nobody around to experience it with. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that, like, for instance, having actual sex with a woman is so much better than jerking off. No, that's not it. Although there's that a little bit, but no. What's going on is that, see, you're experiencing a very powerful emotion with somebody else. A sexual encounter is a powerful emotion. And you experience it with somebody else, and there is that interaction, that sense of, like, I am not so lonely because this other person experienced the same thing, When you have great sex, you have this incredible connection to the person that you had great sex with. Precisely because of that, because you don't feel so lonely anymore. On the contrary, you're experiencing a shared moment together, the same moment. From, sure, of course, relatively speaking, different points of view, but it's the same thing going on that both of you experience. And it's a powerful thing. And it makes you feel more alive. It makes you feel less alone or completely not lonely. See what I mean? In my own case, I recall very clearly the moment that I felt least alone in my life, even though I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. And that was when I was producing and directing movies. Oh yeah, because it was very challenging. It was extremely challenging. And it drew on abilities I didn't even know I had. It drew on everything that I had. I put all of my effort into it. And during the time that I was producing and directing movies, it's not only that I had a good time, the fact of the matter is it wasn't so much that I had a good time, it's that I felt completely involved. I felt that all of my focus, all of my attention, everything in my being was focused on producing and directing movies. And all of the people I encountered in my daily life, they were all on this adventure with me. The people who were in the art department, the people who were in the grip department, the lighting people, everybody, we were all in the same boat, rowing in the same direction. And whenever a problem would arise, I had 5, 10, 20 people who'd all go like, shit, what are we going to do now? Because they knew, they understood the problem that had suddenly arisen. They understood the problem, the significance of the problem, and how it would affect the overall project. And I never felt less lonely in my life than in that period. In that period of my life that, for various reasons, was just a blip in my life and not a period that lasted as long as I wish it had. But that's for another conversation. The point I'm trying to make is that, see, when I was doing that, when I was rowing in that direction, when I was climbing that particular mountaintop, I felt zero loneliness. And I didn't have a girlfriend. No girlfriend at all. Yeah. Like I said in the last video, see, a girl cannot solve your loneliness. And in point of fact, if you're terribly alone and latch on to the wrong girl, she can fucking ruin your fucking life. Not because she's a bad woman, but just because she's incompatible and you latched on to her because you felt so lonely that you figured, well, fuck it, I'll just latch on to her, right? See, a woman cannot solve your loneliness. Other people cannot passively solve your loneliness. The only way to cure your loneliness is to strive towards something greater than yourself, some ideal, some vision that you have. It doesn't have to be such a grandiose vision. It doesn't have to be, conquer the world or some shit like that. It can be potentially quite small and reduced. I mean, like in my own case, for instance, producing and directing movies is a trivial thing in the scheme of things, right? It's a very, very small thing. But during that period when I was doing that, I felt less alone, less lonely than at any other time in my life. I felt that everybody I was in contact with was not just, a colleague, but in a weird sense, like a brother, because all the problems and all the triumphs were not just mine alone, but they belonged to all of us together. And we'd glance at one another's eyes, and we knew what was going on. We knew that the reality they were experiencing and the reality that I was experiencing was the same reality. So don't think that a person can cure your loneliness. It's not a person or people. No. It's a process. It's a process where you have to let loose your ambition and aim. Aim for something that you truly want. You aim for that mountaintop. No matter how humble that mountaintop may be, or how almost impossible that mountaintop may be. You aim for that mountaintop. And as you begin to climb that mountaintop, other people will join you. And as they join you in this adventure and help you overcome obstacles, share in the setbacks, share in the triumphs and the joys of that, that's when your loneliness will be gone. But see, the first step is to decide what mountaintop you're going to aim for, and then start walking.